If you wanted to sublimate on metal signs like these, I'm going to show you how to do that here in this video. Hey, what is going on? It's the printer guy here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to do sublimation printing on metal signage. I do want to get right into the video. I'm using a Mac operating system, and I'm basically printing a design that I bought online. Of course, this can be done with a Windows operating system. The settings might just look a little different. So I do want you to see the settings on screen that I'm using. But if this video ends up being helpful, please make sure to like the video. Any questions at all, comment below. And if you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe. Now, you don't have to print with the settings that I'm using exactly. You can use different settings and you can change different aspects of the printing job. But these are the settings that I ended up using to print on sublimation paper. Now, this is the signage that I bought on Amazon. I'm going to be linking down below to the signage. I'm also going to be linking down below to the sublimation ink that I ended up using. It's Best Printers sublimation ink, and it's going to be really high quality, really great price. So that's linked down below. One of the things I really wanted to adjust here was the scale, which is the size that is actually printed on the paper. You can mess around with that and print different sizes, smaller or bigger. You also want to make sure to flip horizontally using Mac. That's another option on Windows, and that's basically turning the image inversely. So that way when it's sublimating, it's facing the right way on the shirt or whatever media you're printing on. Another option for this is to mirror it, but mirroring you can't do along with flipping horizontally with Mac. You have to choose one or the other, or else it will negate basically doing that flip or that mirroring. And so once you've got that all set, we're going to hit print. Once you're satisfied with all of the settings, how everything is positioned, you're going to go ahead and print it, and then we're going to move on to the next step, which is, of course, it being printed on the sublimation paper, and then we're going to prep the metal signage. Then finally, we will be sublimating with this sublimation paper onto the metal signage. The printer that I'm using for this project is the Epson EcoTank 2400. I'll link it down below. I will also link down below the sublimation paper that I ended up using, which does need to be a specific type of paper. So once you have your design printed out, we're going to move on to the next step, and we're going to set this aside. We're going to take a look at our metal signage, and this is the back part of it. The front part is white so that you can sublimate onto it with a crisp image. And now we're going to take our design and we're going to start to measure a little bit and position it in a way that is central. Now, this is what I'm doing for my project. You can position your design however you'd like. At this point, I'm going to be measuring a little bit and kind of just playing with this a little bit so that the design is actually central. Because there is such a variation between the sublimation paper that I'm using and the metal signage, I really have to do a little bit more of this just eyeballing, measuring, and moving around to the point where I feel like it is actually central on the sign, because that's what I want and that's where I want it to be positioned. Now, if you wanted some more instructional content around sizing the design that you actually print out on your sublimation paper, I have a separate video for that I'm going to be linking down below. Basically, there are some different sizes that you can print based off of what you're looking at and your print preview. Before you even get into any of the other programs, you can actually adjust the sizing through the print settings. Now, I did forget to mention the heat press that I'm using is the Cricut Easy Press 3. I'm going to be linking it down below so that you can get one for yourself if that's what you're looking for. It's a really compact heat press, and it's very easy, very affordable. Now, with these metal signs, if you purchase the exact ones that I did, you're probably going to have this film that you're going to have to remove before you do the sublimation. I tried this with it on, and it did not work well. So you want to make sure that if you're printing on metal signage, make sure and check if there's any additional film that needs to be removed before you actually start the heating process. Because once you get to this point, because if you heat it up at this point without removing the film, then you're going to have some problems with that signage, and you're probably not going to be able to use it anymore. Now, this portion of the video, I'm still kind of testing a little bit. I did not actually do my final print with these settings. So 385 for 10 seconds is what I did previously, and it was a failed attempt. But just so you know, there is a little bit of a science to this, but when you get the right settings and you're using all the right media, then you're really going to get a good result initially. I was using the wrong type of sublimation paper, and the sublimation paper I was using was not compatible with metal signage. Now I'm kind of jumping back to the portion where I was measuring and fitting everything in place, and now I'm actually cutting the design down so that it is an exact fit, so that way when I go to actually measure it, because there's a time between where you're heating up the metal signage and you don't have the image on there just yet. So you have a little bit of time to kind of add that image on. You can't add it before. So I guess what I'm trying to explain is you need to have that design and the paper ready to place on there once you've heated up the metal signage. And that's what we're going to do now. I actually ended up heating up the metal signage at 350 degrees for 10 seconds. And when I actually put on the design and heat the design up, it's going to be at 350 degrees. Now this can vary a little bit and you can change this, give or take. You can also always check when you're buying media, or when I say media, I mean like metal signage or a t-shirt, you can always check. There should be some type of instructions on that packaging telling you roughly what temperature and how long and all of that. Using the Cricut app is going to be a little bit difficult when you're doing metal signage. It works a little bit better when you're printing on a t-shirt or something like that that's fabric. But if you're working with a metal sign like this, then you can do it manually. You can use the Cricut press manually, and you can set whatever temperature you'd like, whatever timing you'd like on it. But that's really where you need to know what temperature you're actually going to be using. So in this case, for the actual heating of the sublimation design with sublimation paper is 350 degrees at about 50 seconds. You want to push on with about medium pressure. Once you're done with the heat press, you're going to set that aside, and now you can peel off, really just removing the sublimation paper with the tape, and you should have a crisp image that has printed onto your metal signage just like this. There should not be any splotches. If there's anything that is discolored or anything that looks like it should not be there and it's not the exact image or it's a little blurry, you can always go back and do this again. That's why you have 10 metal signs, and you may need to practice a little bit to get it just right. This is my 10th or 11th try where I got it to this point, and it really was, I was failing so many times because I was using the wrong sublimation paper. I was never going to get it right with that paper. So really, this only took me 2 times when I used the right type of sublimation paper. So hopefully you can learn from some of my mistakes and you'll be able to successfully sublimate onto metal signage. This turned out excellent, and you can really put this up wherever you need it. You can do other designs. Again, all the product links from the sublimation ink that I used to the heat press, the printer, the metal signage, all of those links are going to be down in the description below. So hopefully all these resources are helpful to you. If this video was helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I handpicked 2 videos that are here on the screen for you to watch next. Also consider subscribing to this channel. There's so much helpful content for you if you're a printer owner, and it's just good to have a resource like this for you in the future, whether you're dealing with a printer that's not printing well or you need more printer recommendations. So I look forward to seeing you again in another video.